And quietly, you must presume these men hold allegiance only to themselves.
You river folk? I fucking hate river folk.
Our soldiers need to be paid, else there will be bedlam.
Name a master of coin. The people will soon discover are lacking resources. They can blame him.
Tumbleton just became a trap, and nobody saw it coming. Ormond Hightower is holding an entire town hostage, daring Rhaenyra to burn her own people just to get to him. But that's not even the biggest bombshell in this trailer. Sunfyre might still be alive, and if he is, everything we thought we knew about this war just changed. Let's break down every single detail. Ormond Hightower just did something nobody expected, and it puts Rhaenyra in an impossible position. He marched his greens into Tumbleton, a small market town close to King's Landing, and instead of fighting in the open, he trapped himself inside with all the townspeople still there. This is not some random move. He knows exactly what he is doing. Tumbleton is fortified, it has walls, it is defensible, and by keeping the town's own people inside with his soldiers, he makes it almost impossible for Rhaenyra to send her dragons in. If she burns the town to get rid of his army, she kills innocent people along with them, and that is exactly what she cannot afford right now. The realm is already watching her closely, and one mistake like that could turn every lord in Westeros against her. Ormond knows this. He is protecting his own troops by using civilians as a shield, and it is honestly one of the smartest moves the Greens have made this entire war. Right now, Rhaenyra's biggest problem is not dragons. She has plenty of those. Her real problem is bodies. She does not have enough soldiers on the ground to actually take Tumbleton by force, because her armies are still marching toward King's Landing after Daemon ordered them there. That march takes time, and it means Rhaenyra is stuck waiting, while Ormond sits comfortably behind Tumbleton's walls, daring her to make the first move. Every day she waits is a day Ormond gets to plan his next step, and that should worry anyone watching this war unfold. Inside the small council meeting, things look different now too. Only a handful of people are sitting with Rhaenyra, and that alone tells you how much has changed. Mysaria is sitting there as her new Mistress of Whispers, which is a massive shift, because Mysaria has her own agenda and her own history, and putting her this close to the crown is a gamble. Orwyle is there as her maester, and there is also a new personal Queensguard standing close to her, someone whose entire job seems to be protecting her and nobody else. That tells you Daemon is thinking ahead, making sure Rhaenyra has someone loyal watching her back at all times, especially with everything falling apart around her. Then comes the money problem, and it is bigger than people realize. The crown's gold is missing, the treasury is in chaos, and somebody needs to take the blame before the people start asking harder questions. Mysaria is the one who suggests naming a new master of coin, and the person stepping into that role appears to be Torrhen Manderly, a character coming in from White Harbor. He seems supportive of Rhaenyra on the surface, but there is something about him that feels like he is enjoying the chaos a little too much. He is clever, he is calculating, and he might end up being the wild card nobody expected in this entire war. Watch how he moves in this episode, because he does not seem like someone who plays it safe. Meanwhile, Gold Cloaks are struggling to keep order in the city streets, and Daemon is warning Rhaenyra directly that unpaid soldiers turn into chaos fast. If the crown cannot pay its own men, loyalty disappears overnight. And that is a threat just as dangerous as any army outside the walls. Rhaenyra is out of easy options, and that is why she is sending Daemon to the Vale, hoping Lady Arryn can offer the gold the crown desperately needs. Whether that plan works is still unknown, but desperation is clearly setting in, and every choice Rhaenyra makes right now could either save her claim to the throne or destroy it completely. Now let's talk about Rook's Rest, because this is where things get even more interesting. Aegon and Larys Strong arrive at the ruins, and in the distance, you can still see the massive carcass of Meleys lying across the keep. Nobody has cleaned it up. Nobody has moved it. And honestly, who would even attempt that? A dead dragon that size is not something people can just haul away. It also raises a strange question. Are the people living around Rook's Rest actually eating the dragon meat? Under normal circumstances, that would be considered blasphemy against the crown. Targaryens see dragons as sacred creatures, almost godlike, and the idea of common people carving up a dragon carcass for food would have been unthinkable before all this chaos started. But desperate times change everything, and war has a way of making people forget the old rules. Larys warns Aegon to be careful here, because even though Criston Cole left a garrison behind when he departed, nobody actually knows where these soldiers' loyalties truly lie. That warning turns out to be justified almost immediately. One of the soldiers starts shouting at Aegon, accusing him of being riverfolk, and making it clear they will kill anyone from the Riverlands on sight. Aegon is told to simply say he is from somewhere else, a quick lie to avoid getting killed by his own men. Think about how insane that is. The king cannot even reveal who he is to his own garrison without risking his life. That is how fractured and dangerous the realm has become. Inside the keep, everything is still destroyed. Nothing has been repaired, which makes sense because it has not been long since the battle happened, and rebuilding a castle takes time nobody has right now. But the real bombshell here is what this scene is setting up. Aegon and Larys are searching for Sunfyre, and the trailer strongly hints that Sunfyre is still alive. If that is true, it changes everything for Aegon. Right now, he is still recovering, still shaking off the effects of the milk of the poppy, and his mind is finally starting to clear. But nothing gives a Targaryen more confidence than knowing their dragon might still be breathing. If Sunfyre survived, Aegon is going to feel like he has a real chance again, like he can actually fight for the throne instead of just surviving and hiding. This raises a huge question though. If Sunfyre is alive, why did Baela believe he was dead in the first place? The most likely explanation is that she simply did not get close enough to confirm it, and Sunfyre may have been lying still, badly injured, possibly playing dead just to avoid being finished off. It would almost be darkly funny if Sunfyre was intentionally faking his death, letting the world believe their strongest weapon was gone, while quietly staying alive, waiting. The bigger mystery is how a dragon like that survives without help. Has someone been feeding him? Are animals just wandering too close and becoming an easy meal? Either way, if Sunfyre reveals himself again, the balance of power in this war shifts instantly. Back at Tumbleton, Ormond Hightower is spotted walking through what looks like Lord Footley's own chambers, meaning he has likely already taken over the town's leadership space, at least until things settle. And this is where things get personal for Hugh Hammer. His wife and her brother are seen talking with other highborn people inside Tumbleton, and there is a real chance Ormond figures out exactly who she is. If Ormond realizes she is connected to Hugh Hammer, one of Rhaenyra's dragon riders, that becomes an enormous problem. It gives the Greens leverage, a way to threaten Hugh Hammer directly, using his wife's life as a bargaining chip to force him to betray the Blacks, or at least stay out of the fight. This is exactly the kind of twist that could shift dragon loyalty in this war. And remember, Rhaenyra's biggest advantage right now is that she simply has more dragons than the Greens. If even one dragon rider switches sides or hesitates because of a threat like this, that advantage starts to shrink fast. Later in the trailer, Vermithor and Hugh Hammer are shown flying directly over Tumbleton, and the timing suggests this happens after Hugh Hammer learns what is happening to his wife. Watching the ground troops panic below as Vermithor passes overhead says everything. Vermithor is the second biggest dragon after Vhagar, and just his presence alone is enough to terrify an entire army. But this could easily be Rhaenyra sending Hugh Hammer there specifically because of the threat to his wife, which puts him in an emotional, high-stakes position right when the war needs him focused and calm. There is also a brief and slightly misleading shot of Vhagar flying, which many viewers might assume is over Tumbleton, but that is not the case. Vhagar is still stationed near Aemond, back at Harrenhal, not anywhere close to Tumbleton. The editing makes it look connected, but it is important to keep these locations separate in your head as the story develops. Speaking of Harrenhal, Criston Cole, Gwaine Hightower, and their men are shown searching for Aemond, since that was the last confirmed location before he vanished. Alice Rivers is clearly enjoying having them there, and honestly, if anyone should be worried in that castle, it is Criston Cole and his men, not Alice Rivers. She is shown wearing a different outfit, along with a pendant nobody has identified yet, something that could easily hint at a larger secret tied to her character. Aemond himself is shown shirtless, in what appears to be the same room where Daemon once slept in the weirwood bed, suggesting this is where Alice has been keeping him hidden while he recovers from his injuries. Meanwhile, Daemon's decision to leave Tessarion behind with the Greens raises a lot of questions, but there is a clear explanation. Daemon believed the person he sent to King's Landing was the real Darren, so naturally, he saw no reason to move Tessarion anywhere, especially since only trained dragon keepers can safely handle her. His entire plan was built around the assumption that Rhaenyra would eventually deal with Darren permanently, since Darren has a legitimate claim to the throne that the Blacks cannot ignore forever. Daemon was simply buying time until that happened. Ormond's line about restoring the rightful line to the Iron Throne is not just empty talk either, whether he means Darren or Aemond. The truth is, he does not fully care which one sits on the throne, as long as it is someone he can control. And Daeron fits that role perfectly. This mirrors exactly what Otto Hightower wanted when he pushed Aegon onto the throne in the first place. It has never really been about honoring bloodlines. It has always been about control. By the end of this trailer, one thing becomes painfully clear. Every side in this war is running out of time, resources, and trust. And one wrong move from any of them could completely collapse everything they have built so far. Drop your predictions in the comments and let me know which twist shocked you the most, because next week's full episode breakdown is going to answer everything this trailer just teased.